Speaking of Xbox, there was a really cool article today. I want to show it to you. The article today was on VG 24/7, okay? And the headline was very provocative. It says, if Xbox can't beat PS5 this holiday, I'm not sure it ever will. And it is written by Tom Orey, the editor-in-chief. And he goes on to talk about the fact that Xbox is having a moment, he says. He says, you know, you've got Forza, which is a Game of the Year candidate. You've got Psychonauts, which is a Game of the Year candidate. Anybody who played the Halo beta knows that Halo multiplayer, at least, is back on track. Who knows about the campaign? And then that's not to mention the bevy. And then there's Flight Sim. And then the bevy of just third-party, like, Back 4 Blood games and independent games that are awesome. He says, look, you know, especially given that PlayStation 5 is having such a shit holiday season, and they are. Their biggest thing, I think he said, was Deathloop. But Deathloop is really Sony's big thing this Christmas that's unique, that you can only get on the hardware, that you can't, you know, that's newish. Well, Deathloop went from 2 to 12 in the course of 4 weeks, 3 weeks, right? It is interesting that, you know, I mean, again, I don't even know if it matters if they beat PS5. Like, I mean, what is that really going to mean? We wake up, you know, when the numbers come out mid-January and go, wow, Xbox sold 4,000 more copies or units of hardware than I mean, who gives a shit, right? PlayStation has an amazing lineup coming the first 6 months of 2022. I think it's more interesting, though, because it really is, as a guy who really believes, even though I love all my systems equally. Well, I love my PlayStation 5 and my Xbox equally. I'm not that big of a Switch guy. But as a guy who loves both those systems equally, I don't really care. But I'm a big believer in Phil Spencer's vision for what he's doing at Xbox, specifically as it relates to Game Pass, as people know. If this Christmas does not see Game Pass, whether you're playing it on Xbox or you're streaming it or you're playing it on a PC, it doesn't see Xbox and Game Pass really moving the needle. I don't know what morale would be like when you come back at Microsoft after the holidays, because what else would you have these motherfuckers do? You've got Psychonauts, that's going to be nominated for Game of the Year. You've got Forza 5, that's going to be nominated for Game of the Year. You've got Halo, which will definitely be nominated for Shooter of the Year, Online Game of the Year, just based on what we've played already in the beta. Who knows? I don't think the campaign's going to be that great based on the trailer, but, you know, and then you've got all these other great games. I just, if you go back to work and you look at the numbers and you work at Microsoft or you're Phil Spencer and you're going, wow, okay, well, we didn't lose any subscribers, but we only got like a 20% bump over the holidays. I don't know how you stay motivated to do that job. At that point, you're like, here, throw in the towel. Let somebody else run this fucking division, because if the players aren't showing up to buy that, right? What would they show up for? Halo seems so meh to me. Am I alone, says Frank. Frank, I am not a Halo guy. I have never been a Halo guy. But I will tell you, after playing the beta, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be hyperbolic about the beta. I can just tell you that I played the beta and I had more fun playing that game than most shooters I've played in the last 5 years. I love the way Halo is tuned. I love the time to kill. I thought the grapple hook was a lot of fun, a fun mechanic. It just felt really, really, really good. But I agree. I mean, I don't think it does anything to, you know, ignite someone's passion in the IP, but it is a lot of fucking fun. Game Over Kid says Phil Spencer tweeted that Horizon is a hit. Forza 5 has 3 times the number of Forza 4, and it's the best Microsoft launch ever. That's what they have been announcing. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a sim racing guy. You guys know me. I like to play Hot Shot Racing, and I like to play Dirt 5, and I've been obsessed with playing Forza because there's so much cool shit to do in it. I'm really enjoying it. Halo and Forza, says Legends, was better than Crackdown 3. Sure, Microsoft dropped the ball on that, and then that Dragon RPG game was dropped too. Yeah, I mean, they've struggled for a long time. Maybe they're out of the woods. You know, if they can keep up this cadence, you know, and their games, to be fair, their games are more you know, Xbox, if you guys remember the 360 and even Xbox, the very first one, when it was, you know, there were times when it was neck and neck with PlayStation 2. I think it was 2, yeah. They did have their ear, or they had their, they read the tea leaves of what sort of bro American gamers wanted more than Sony did. And I think, you know, not Psychonauts, but I think Forza, I think Halo, you know, I think those are the kind of games that tend to be, I mean, obviously Call of Duty trumps all of that with these guys, but I think more people would be interested in a great multiplayer shooter over the long term than a great cinematic story game that you finish in a couple of days. But again, I love both my systems. I'm not shitting on one or the other. I'm just saying it's interesting to see if these guys are capable of turning it on as they are and keeping it on. It's going to be a really interesting next couple years as we watch these systems kind of slugging out with each other. Microsoft mostly have their big franchises in order, but struggle with new IPs, says Legends. Yeah, we will see what's new soon. Hopefully, I heard December, the first 2 weeks in December, I heard they're going to have another showcase. I would have to assume what they're doing in that showcase is going to be saying, hey, we know that Sony's got Horizon Forbidden West. We know they've got God of War. We know they've got Grain GT coming. Here's what we have coming the first 6 months of 2022. Because right now, nobody really fucking knows, man. Pause says, glad you're not a fanboy, Jaffe. Power to the non-fanboys. I'm a fan of games. I don't see how you could be a fan of anything else.